No mai, haere mai. Welcome to the More Than Theology podcast.
Kia ora, welcome to the More Than Theology podcast. We're stoked that you're here, and I'm joined here with my good colleague and friend, I can call you a friend, Richard Goodwin, and my name is Ben Devery. This is the first podcast that we'll be releasing for More Than Theology, so we're excited about it, aren't we, bro?
Just a little.
Just a little bit excited about it. So I thought we'd start with just by introducing ourselves. So, bro, tell us, who are you?
Yeah. So I'm Richard Goodwin. I'm academic director at Pathways College and been with Pathways for about 2.5 years. I'm from Te Aotearoa, which is also known as Cambridge in New Zealand, even though the Tauranga or the Pathways studio / office is here in Tauranga. It's where we are at the moment.
Thanks for calling it a studio.
Yeah, it's a big time studio. So I come over a couple of days a week. I've been studying theology most of my adult life on and off, and just really quit being a student and got a real job just a couple of years ago. When I came to Pathways. I live, like I said, Cambridge. I'm married, have 2 boys, 2 kids, part of Raleigh Street Christian Centre.
Cool.
And I also do a bit of teaching for Fuller Seminary online.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Ben, tell us about you.
Bro, I would love to tell you about me. So my name is Ben Devery. I've been working at Pathways. I guess I started at the beginning of the year. Prior to that, I was studying at Laidlaw Bible College. So I was full-time, and then I went down to part-time studies for a myriad of reasons. I've found myself working here at Pathways full-time as the online courses manager, which I love. Mm-hmm. And I get to do cool stuff like this, filming and editing, and also developing our online courses. I'm also married to Rosie Devery, who's the School of Worship leading coordinator here at Pathways, and we have 2 beautiful boys, Ezra and Daniel. And so we live just up the road here in Brookfield in Tauranga, and we love it.
Rad.
Yeah,
very cool.
So good times.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this is our podcast, and so this is brand new. So we needed to come up with a brand new name for it. So what is the name that we've landed on for our podcast, Richard?
Yeah, this podcast is called More Than Theology, and it was so easy to come up with that name. It was a rigorous process and
some protesting.
Yeah. A lot of little tantrums and people arguing for their point of view. That might have mostly been me. Surveys, all sorts. Taking it way too seriously. So please don't tell us you don't like the name. But the name actually, I think, captures a bit of what we're about at Pathways. Because, we're a Bible college, and if you want to be really flash, you could even say we're a theological institution. And some Bible colleges / theological institutions become these kind of places where people are just talking about ideas, and it feels like, what does this have to do with my sort of actual Christian life?
Right.
And I think at Pathways, we've got a really practical focus, We're not kind of people who just want to talk about theology for theology's sake, even though that can be really fun. We don't just want to talk about Bible for Bible's sake, even though that can be really fun. Ultimately, we really want it to be so that we are being more and more Christ-like and out there in the world actually living it out. And so this podcast will involve some talk about theology and some talk about Bible, and I guess some topics and conversations are going to be a little headier than others. But ultimately, we really want to just land the plane and go, this is actually making a difference somehow in the world. How do we do that? How do we live it out? So it's theology, but it's more than theology.
Great.
So,
and hence the name.
More
than theology.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you like it? I mean, let us know. Comments. Leave a comment in the, I guess, down below, or like it.
Don't. It'll devastate us.
So awesome. So that's our name, and obviously we're a part of Pathways Bible College, which is located here in Tauranga. And I think, I don't know, hence the neon P. Pretty amazing. Jess, our marketing person, is sitting over there with the headphones on. She is the mastermind behind getting this neon P organized, so props to Jess. But yeah, so I guess there'll be some people that are super fresh to Pathways, but there will be also people that have no idea what Pathways is. So I mean, if someone was to come and study at Pathways, Richard, like what does it look like?
Yeah. So our sort of flagship qualification is a level 5 diploma in Christian studies. Level 5 is the equivalent of first year university. And so what we do is we have students come in and spend a year doing Bible, theology, church history, some of those kind of classic stuff in the classroom.
Cool.
But they spend half their time doing the study, if you like, and then the other half they're doing internships in churches, camps, parachurch organizations, doing actual ministry. So kind of our model is 50% study, 50% ministry, and it's all about, like just what I was saying before, it's so that it's more than theology, it's more than just head knowledge. It's actually, you're actually able to apply it in real ministry. And so that's kind of what we're about at Pathways. But we also have online courses, which you are the mastermind behind.
That's right.
And that's something that's being ramped up. So there are options too for people that just want to do like a paper here and there, but don't necessarily want to do the full qualification.
Yeah.
People that do the full level 5 qualification, I think it acts as a really good foundation for whatever's next. So for some people, they want to go into some area of work, but they just want to have a good foundation, a good grasp of their faith before they kind of go into that field of work. Other people want to start heading into sort of classic church ministry of some sort. And this is a really good way for them to learn some of the basics of how to interpret the Bible, how to understand and think theologically, that kind of stuff, so that they can go about their ministry more effectively. Others are looking to actually do further theological study, so you can start at Pathways and then end at complete a full degree at like Otago or Kerry Baptist or Laidlaw College.
Come on.
We love all those guys. And so you can sort of do your first year here and then cross credit into those programs and then do a full bachelor's degree. So there's a lot of people going different ways with it. So it's pretty versatile. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Every time you say the word Laidlaw, I get paid $5 from Laidlaw, which is fantastic. So thanks. But yeah, so I guess that's a little bit about our internship program. So let's come back to the podcast. Yep. So why a podcast? What are your hopes and dreams for a podcast?
Yeah. I'm a total podcast junkie. So I mentioned that I drive, so it's twice a week I come over from Cambridge to Tauranga, and the rest of the week I'm working from home. But on those 2 trips, I just live and breathe podcasts, and often when I'm even going for a run or whatever. So I'm just really into podcasts. I think they're a great medium and super easy to do. So I think the thing at Pathways is we have a lot of good people that we're in contact with. We have great faculty who are just gurus in their area. We're all connected with different people through our churches that are just really switched on and have some really interesting, challenging thoughts in different areas that are relevant to believers. And I think we're often ourselves engaged in reading and even research that is just interesting. And so we just think this is a really natural kind of forum to have those conversations, but also just kind of make it available to a whole lot of people because, we have our students and we love them to tune in, but then there's all these other people that are somehow closely or not so closely connected with Pathways, maybe even never have heard of Pathways, but we can enrich your faith in some way by just facilitating really good conversations from some really smart, switched on guests. So that's part of it for me. The other thing, I've just become really convinced the last year or two in particular, that in New Zealand we have to think and provide kind of leadership from the church, for the church here in Aotearoa from within, because we're English speaking and small. We've tended to take our cues from overseas, especially the US and the UK to a lesser extent, because we're so small, and we get all their books, magazines, whatever, right now media, streaming, all that kind of stuff, and so much of it is really good quality. But I've just got that sense lately that, like, in New Zealand, we've kind of got our own thing going as well. Like, not everything that is going on in the church in the States is really applicable to what's going on here. Yeah. And so the more conversations we can have with people who are embedded in Aotearoa, who are trying to think biblically, Christianly, theologically about different areas of life and actually have those conversations here, I think the more effective we can be as disciples in this land. Yeah. So that's me. How about you, Ben?
Bro, thanks for asking. That's awesome. Yeah, I think my hope is that this podcast honestly just reaches everyone, like as many people as possible, Christian, non-Christian, you know. And I had a really interesting thing happened to me last year. I was studying full time, everything was going really well, and then I herniated a disc in my back, and I was actually totally out for the count, lying down on my back for 3 months. And in that time, it was really interesting. I was in a lot of pain. It sucked. But I did a lot of thinking and recalibrating. And I actually spent a lot of time on YouTube and really just investigating and researching gear and how do you film stuff and how do you record stuff. And so that's where this passion kind of came from. But I also realized, man, there's a lot of people that are here that need to hear about Jesus. And so my hope is that in this podcast, as we release it on YouTube, that people hear about Jesus and and that we wrestle with some really important theological ideas, but also that people get to know the fantastic college that, you know, is Pathways and the amazing caliber of people that that we're surrounded by. So this is really a dream kind of come into fruition for me, and that's my prayer for this podcast, that we can reach the millions of people on YouTube and it makes an impact.
Yeah, that's
cool.
So, yeah. I don't know if that's providence or not, but it feels like this, you know, because I think even Jess, who's our marketing guru, and I had talked about this kind of thing, whether it was a podcast or some other format, before you were even on the team. And so it's kind of like the stars aligning or whatever, you know, different ideas that are kind of converging and become more than theology.
People are thinking right now, is your back still sore? No, my back is a lot better because I didn't finish. Yeah, so I've actually had a really miraculous, I would say, kind of healing experience, and so I'm back to about 90-95%
awesome,
functionality, and
so
mostly the healing needs to happen mentally, but I'm doing really well. So so it's super exciting. So what we thought we'd do is we get you, our listeners, our viewers involved now, and we'd love to do just I guess a few giveaways. So if you're watching this and you're watching on YouTube, we'd love it if you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop us a comment if you're getting value out of this, if you're excited, if you have a topic that you'd really like us to talk about on the podcast, please drop it in the description below. And what we'll do is we'll randomly choose someone that has done those things, and we're going to send you out a few things. We've got beautiful Pathways Bible College drinking bottle. We've got a book here, and we've got a pen and some other fun merchandise that we'll send you away, and we'll get in touch with you for further details. If you're on Facebook, please like our Pathways Bible. It's a new thing. It's like Pathways and Bible but mixed together.
That should have been the name.
Pathways Bible College Facebook page, and like this video and comment and share it with a friend, and we'll also send you out a little gift pack. Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks, Ben. I'm really looking forward to doing this podcast with you.
Cool, man. That's awesome. That's it from us today. So we'll say ka kite anō, and we'll see you in the next one.
Mā te wā.